I just wanted to show you guys the bullshit that I'm dealing with right now. Ooh, look at that Volvo. So jealous. Hey, we're listening to German music. It's okay. We can all have Germany in some form of fashion. I really don't know how to do that accent. I pretend. I pretend that I can do it. Ooh, another Don't Tread on Me license plate. Don't you love that? That's how I know you mean business. Whenever I see that snake. Isn't it kind of weird that they use a snake? I mean, I'm sure there's some symbolism behind that, but considering the fact that this world is fucked up because Satan transformed himself into a snake, maybe they should change the Gadsden flag. I don't know. That's just my suggestion. But I don't know what's going on right now. I guess it's heavy construction or something. You just never know. They're installing all this new technology, so I can only assume that something really terrible and ominous is going on underneath the street. And they're keeping it a big old secret. Not that people give a shit about their demise, but you know how people say things like, oh, well, if this were true, then there would be so much protesting in the streets. I don't know about that. I feel like the only people that protest and are like super proactive about it are like these deranged leftists that have nothing better to do. Because anytime that people try to protest on the right, they just break it up and they say that something else is happening. You know, like they talk about white supremacy a lot. You know why they say that? Because that's not true. Like, white people really aren't better off. They want you to think that. And as long as people think that, then that's the reality. I mean, if you're talking about white supremacy in relation to, like, pedophiles, you know? Like, yeah, pedophiles, for whatever reason, they like to have sex with white kids. I don't know why, but they don't want to settle for less, you know? So anybody that knows anything about CPS should know that. Holy crap, y'all. This is really heavy traffic. Right shoulder closed, 1,500 feet. All right. You think they're fixing the potholes? Probably not. Probably not. You think that they would do this like at nighttime when there's no traffic? I mean, I've seen them do work at night. Or maybe they're not schizophrenic. I mean, maybe they don't want to stay up all night and be outside. Dude, I really am like a bat. You know, I was looking at pictures of bats and they were like freaking me out. Bats are creepy. They are so creepy. The way they sleep is creepy. They sleep upside down, which is kind of cool. But other animals sleep upside down. But what's interesting about bats is that, like, they're very, like, social. Like, they all sleep together, which is kind of cute. That'd be funny if, like, I couldn't go to sleep unless there were, like, 500 more people sleeping with me. Well, I know that that's the case, like, you know, if you've been with somebody for a while, you can't sleep when they're not in the bed with you. It's kind of sweet, it's kind of pathetic. I'm just glad that I'm not like that. Even though sometimes I get kind of sad because I know that I'll never have what other people have. But it's like, if I had it, I wouldn't want it, and I'd reject it, and it would freak me out. And I think about that a lot, you know, when I see children, and it's like, I know that I'd be a good mom. So many people tell me that. They're like, you know, it's a shame that you don't want kids, because you would actually raise them right. I would raise them right. I wouldn't let them watch TV. I wouldn't give them sugar. I wouldn't take them to school, you know? I mean, homeschooling really is ideal, because why wouldn't you want to be with your kids? Like, that's just so strange to me, and I remember thinking that when I was a child. Like, how can my parents send me to this government school every day? Why do they trust these pieces of shit? I mean, I had a substitute teacher that tried to touch me, and I wasn't the only one in the class that he did that to. But he had a thing for boys. So, that's probably why he touched me, because he thought I was a boy. That's funny, though. It is funny, I should say that. I mean, that's not funny. I shouldn't be making light of that. But, hey, it happened to me, okay? So, calm down. But yeah, I'm sure it's really easy to get away with, especially if you're a substitute teacher. Because then if you do something fucked up, you can just move on to another school. And there's such a dire shortage of teachers. So I'm sure they put up with all kinds of shit from really, really terrible people. I'm a very patient person, y'all. Very, very patient. You know, a lot of people cannot do what I'm doing right now. Because they're so antsy. You know, and everything in our culture pretty much guarantees that we're going to have 100 times the anxiety that we would have naturally. You know, it's terrible. It's terrible that people call that freedom, or talk about, you know, my ancestors died for this. Yes, yes. Isn't that something to be proud of? Your ancestors died so we could all do this. Alright? Your ancestors died so we could all eat at Popeyes. I know I seem insensitive, but I'm a comedian. I know I'm not getting paid to do that. I don't have to get paid to do that. There are a lot of people getting paid to do that. They suck at it.
No, I shouldn't say that. It's an art form, so you can suck at comedy and still be a comedian, you know? Like, I was watching my recent performance. The one I did at the Weed Bar is pretty decent, but the one before that is so bad. But that's what happens whenever I attempt to just be myself on stage. I mean, it's a little different if I actually know the people that I'm performing for. It's like I knew a few people that were there, but, you know, other comic friends of mine. I gotta say something, though. Marcus Quit Playing Jones is the funniest motherfucker in Nashville. I'd call him something else, but people would get mad about it. He wouldn't get mad because he's old school black, so he doesn't give a shit about white people saying the N-word, but, you know. I've gotten too much shit, so I'm just not gonna go there. But I've had this conversation with a lot of different black people about that word, and it seems to me that the issue that they have is when white people just use it nonchalantly. And I was saying, well, you know, black people shouldn't use it nonchalantly either, you know? Like, it's a word that was used to demean you. But, you know, since it's part of that culture, you can't criticize somebody else's culture. Like, you can criticize their behavior somewhat, but their culture, I mean, that's a huge part of who they are and their upbringing and everything, so, you know, I was thinking, you know, the white people have, you know, words that we use, like, we call each other the retard. Hard R. No, I'm just gonna call my friends retarded. You're a retard. Retard with an H. Retard. It's so stupid. Is that funny or not? Okay, we're actually going now. It's pretty good. Well, damn, I got used to going slow. Oh, hey, they poured cement into the pothole. I wish I'd filmed that. I'm gonna film it next time, okay? It's always nice when they actually do something that I've been yelling about repeatedly. I think there's more traffic up here. You should get off at Paynesville Road. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is really nice weather today. They said the temperature's fixing to drop shortly. What did I say? Day and a half, it'll be gone. Look at that. Just to prove what I just said. Pothole crew ahead. Speaking of potholes, right? That is very true. So my bishop, a few months ago, he paid a visit to our church, which was really awesome. Really cool dude from Serbia. And very, very chill. And I'm saying that because he didn't react to me. Like, my priests will react to me. A lot of people react to me because pick different. We already did pick different. So I get easily distracted, obviously, but yeah, man. Yeah, most people do react to me, though. Because they don't expect me to say the things that I say. And not only that, but to say them with such impunity, you know? Like, I talk about a lot of stuff very nonchalantly because, you know, that's just how I talk. And I don't understand why people have to talk to certain people about certain things, and we go into a special room to have this conversation. And, you know, I get that there's a time and a place, but, you know, it's just kind of ridiculous that people put such expectation on, you know, vernacular and, you know, certain topics and all that shit. It's like, people wouldn't be such candy asses if we could just talk, man. But anyway, yeah, so I told my bishop that I like marijuana, and he said that it was killing my brain cells. You ever heard of that? You ever heard that marijuana kills your brain cells? Well, I told him I got spares, okay? I got so many brain cells, it's like uncanny. I used to think that I was a real fucking idiot. Back when I was in a government school, I thought I was so dumb. But the longer I've lived my life, and the more that I've experienced, and I've paid attention to that experience, and I pay attention to myself paying attention. So, you know, the fact that I'm applying the things that I learn, and that I'm trying to learn everywhere I go, like, I look at everything like it's school, okay? So, I feel like that right there is very, very wise. Because when you stop growing, you stop living. But in relation to you know, brain cell activity, you know, as long as you do stuff that encourages your mind to stay active, then I feel like it doesn't matter how much pot you smoke, because I think you're making excuses for it. Probably. But, you know, all these studies that they do, where they say, like, oh, well, marijuana, like, it actually shrinks your brain cells, is what it does. But yeah, these studies that they do, usually on adolescents. It's bad for adolescents because their brain is still developing. So I'm not suggesting that, okay? Anytime I talk about drugs, I'm not suggesting that people do drugs, okay? So please don't twist that and act like I'm promoting drug use. I'm not, okay? People are pretty stupid and ignorant about so many things, so the last thing they need to do is get high. But if they know what they're doing, get fucking high. Anyway, what was I saying though? Classic pothead moment, right? Well, you see, that's the thing. All of the issues that marijuana supposedly causes, like, I already had those issues. So, I'm sure in some ways it's like making it worse, but in other ways it makes it better. And I can definitely attest to that. And much to my mother's dismay, she will totally admit the fact that, like, I'm a lot calmer. Like, normal ass people, if they smoke weed, they get paranoid and they start freaking out because of information that is being revealed to them that they're not ready for, okay? When a person such as myself smokes marijuana or eats marijuana, it's like we just have this relief and this comfort of, okay, it's all right that the world is this way because there's pot, you know? and that's what I'm talking about. Like people that don't have that kind of perspective, people that have no idea like how cruel this world truly is, if they get one whiff of the perspective that we have, they'd fucking slit their wrists. They would not be able to handle it. So that's why, like, if people like don't understand why I engage in that behavior, it's like, whatever, man. My problem though is like that people just don't want to understand. Like, they want to complain about things that they make no attempt to understand. And if they made that attempt to understand, they wouldn't be so mad that people act the way that they do. And there are drugs like cannabis and kratom, which is like opium essentially. MDMA, I think they're just trying to legalize it for mental illness purposes. But, you know, it's like all these things can increase your empathy, which is positive. You know, anything that helps you have more compassion for the people around you, anything that helps you have a deeper understanding of why things are the way they are, I'd say is a good thing. But too much of that is going to be dangerous. I need to do like a TED Talk on like how to not be a glutton. How to not turn yourself into an addict with every single thing that you do. You know, you gotta balance it out, man. A lot of people, they say yes one time, they gotta say yes all the time. But anyway, yeah, I got spare brain cells. I didn't realize that. The government did a far better job of shrinking my brain cells than marijuana. Really and truly. You should write that down. That's a true statement right there. It is a true statement. I really like driving. I know I'm not supposed to like driving because I'm a woman. And like, if this world were better, I wouldn't be able to do this. But I would still do it though, man. I would still do it. I would take the keys from my husband and he would smack the shit out of me when I got home. But I'd be that rebel wife. Yeah. Yeah, you would. But it would be worth it. Yeah. Yeah, because I'd enjoy the punishment. I'm kidding. You can't punish me. Nobody can punish me but God. You know, the reason why these people, I talk about FOMO a lot. The reason why they have that fear, and it's so deeply ingrained in them, in relation to like the world, you know, what the world thinks of them, what their peers think of them. of this is healthy, another part's like really narcissistic. But it's like if they sought their rewards from God, they wouldn't care what people think. They wouldn't go out of their way to please people that aren't satisfied with anything they do anyway. You know? So they don't think about their actions having consequences, like eternal consequences, spiritual consequences. They don't think about stuff like that because they look at the world for, you know, their punishment as well as their rewards. So I always say this, you know, a lack of God is the problem. If people were more conscious of His presence, they wouldn't do a lot of things that they do because they'd want to be good. They'd want to be better. But anyway, I keep rambling. I think I'm just going to stop.